Yo guys, what is up? It's your boy Grizz Games coming back at you with another Bloons Tower Defense Battles cards video. And in this video we have finally switched up the deck. So just spinning the wheel here, got a lead dungeon pass. Okay, I'll take it. Don't know if I'll be checking that out anytime soon though. So let's jump in. So I decided to edit the deck offline, and here is the water version of the deck. Literally the only water tower is at the end. And here is the other version of the deck. So the difference is that I took out what did I even take out? I took out the banana plantation for the destroyer. But let me just run through the deck, and just for that I'll let you know that I did this off camera because I was thinking about maybe streaming it, having you guys put your input in and everything, which I still think is a great idea for future deck edits, but at the moment I felt like it was just a little quicker just to do it off camera and kind of just run through the deck setup. So what we have here is a deck that's trying to be everything. So I don't think I learned too much from my mistakes at the last from creating the last deck, but I hope that this one works out a little better because as you can see, I got some early game towers. You know, I got some kind of mid game towers, some late game towers. You know, in a pinch, kind of you need something happening. You know, some sustained kind of stuff, and I actually put in some rush towers and balloon sending towers. So basically what I mean by that is the way I've set out this deck is the first section here is eco orientated. So you know, I did the math on the cards, and Razor Sharp Shots is actually the best eco card there is. It only takes 90 seconds for it to pay itself off. So it only takes 90 seconds for that 18 eco that you gain to make like at least £275 right there, or dollars, or money, or whatever. Really, so it's actually the best eco card that there is, which was a little bit surprising actually, but it had to be a dark card, really, didn't it? And the other cards are also just really efficient for balloons, but of course there are slightly more efficient cards than, say, the balloon trap, which would be the spike factory, but we had to exit that one out. Obviously we exited it out and we put in a banana plantation in the previous video, or the video before that, just because it was 100 reds. It's too long. It's too long to come out, and the spike factory, you never want to place that, so it had to be done. So these eco cards actually have things, like actually have good towers as well. So obviously you Razor Sharp Shots, real cheap, real effective. Intense Magic, obviously you guys know I love that card. Tack Sprayer, pretty decent if you put it on the corners, and Balloon Trap obviously just takes in all those balloons. Got the cleansing foam for the leads and camo. It's not 100% reliant, it's not 100% like perfect on the cleansing foam obviously, but you know, it does a really good job. And then these three cards are more of the late game cards that I'll be trying to put out, because just like the other deck, It's the same late game cards. I think they're just great. Obviously you've got the lead and camo detection on the semi-automatic rifle. Bloon Jitsu, probably seen in the past videos when I've made it to late game, is pretty solid. And Apache dart ship, just set it up and leave it to do what it wants. If you're really good at like the heli micro, then obviously you take it off pursuit and you put it on the follow mouse, and you can do some pretty cool stuff with that. I'm not too great with that, so I usually just leave it on pursuit. We've switched out the chain lightning for jugger launch even here. So my thinking behind it was chain lightning sometimes is a little slow on the like if the balloons make it halfway around the map and then you chain lightning, it's not always too effective. You usually do get quite a few leaks coming through, but jugger launch is, I mean, I'm not 100% sure, but I feel like it would be better. So I feel like it was worth the extra $300 that it's worth, that it takes to play it even. I found out that Bounty is the card people have been using to grind that one extra cash per balloon pop, but I figured it's not too great, because even if you pop around like 150, 200 balloons, it's not quite as effective as a lot of these other balloon sending cards, and they come with towers as well as other options, whereas Bounty is just basically the balloon send option without even the pressure of the balloons. So it's not really I don't rate it too high, to be honest. Taking the kidnap just for the late game, and I'll try not to be kidnapping any banana plantations anymore, because I feel like that was one of my biggest mistakes. So I'll be throwing that away in the early game, unless I wanted to make salted wounds plays, but we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens in the games. Obviously you gotta run it back with the tax. The tax is always good. Love that shit. The Blade Maelstrom is the first of the kind of rush cards, and basically it's round 11, which is the same, which is the earliest you can send a camo rush in card battles. So round 11, you got 9 camo regen zebras coming out at you, and it's only $2,000 as well for that, which is, I feel like that is extremely good. And especially since when I first kind of started playing, I would always try and rush people with the ballistic missile ones, the round 12 24 camo zebras, which is still very good. But I've chosen the Blade Maelstrom here just because the tower itself is pretty damn good as well, and can always help you out. The banana plantation made it in here just because, again, round 11 camo rush, it's 30 pinks. They come out real quick. They are spaced, which is the only problem I have with it, but you know, what can you do really? Like the eco that you get from it and the price that it is makes it very good. And just the fact on the Blade Maelstrom one that you actually get eco from it, you're not spending eco like you do on the like a lot of the ceramic rushes and stuff. It's pretty highly rated. Next up is the Cripple Moab. So this is a later game rush, because when we made it past early and mid game, we just hold out for late game. We just hold out to see what their rushes are, and I feel like it's not too good to be doing that, because you see when we get like these little Moabs sent to us, and we kind of struggle, but we got nothing to send back. We just have to try and defend. So this is our chance to kind of send some BFBs to them, some Moab class balloons. And also Cripple Moab is pretty decent in the late game as well, so it'd be nice to have a couple of them down. So also the eco that you lose on it is only 100 eco, which is perfectly fine for me to lose. Like even just sending a balloon trap, like the white eco to them, just makes up for it instantly. So it doesn't hurt my feelings too much that we lose 100 eco from that. Whereas like the Super Monkey Fan Club, it's, you know, it costs a little less, you get one less BFB, it's 3 times the eco. Although they are grouped, I feel like sometimes it is better to send spaced for the Moabs, but we'll see how it goes anyway. This is a kind of testing card, I guess. It might stay, it might not. The Glaive Ricochet. The blacks that come out on round 5. Round 5, dealing with blacks is annoying. They only cost 500 as well. 20 of them come out. The eco is decent on it as well. It's not even that bad. So an early game eco card really. But the Glaive Ricochet definitely falls off a lot after early game, so the tower itself isn't something I'll be keeping around. Like late game, it's not worth it to send because they're spaced instead of grouped. So it's basically a trash card after early, maybe even mid game. And finally, the Fast Engineering. Now I put this in because pinks on round 3 is ridiculous, and there's the cluster bombs that also does pinks on round 3, and basically I was sizing them up against each other, and I think just for that extra $200 for another 10, you know, it's not overly worth it, but the tower cost is lower. I feel like after like the initial 10-15 seconds, the engineer needs to start putting up his towers. After that, I feel like it's a pretty good balloon popping power. The cluster bombs is nice, but the fast engineering slightly wins out in my opinion. But we'll see how that goes as well. It could be that maybe 50 is too many. They're usually able to defend after 30, and in that case we could probably swap it out for the cluster bombs. And that is that deck right there. So I didn't really have water maps in mind when I was creating this. I just wanted to make an all-round kind of deck that has the potential to do well, and so that's why I've only got one water tower in this deck. So you're basically gonna wanna skip most of the water maps that you find, which can be quite a few. So I might have to make some changes. Maybe I'll make a change right now. Actually, I'll put in, say, a reactor instead of the glaive. In fact, let's say instead of this is why I didn't want to do it on camera, by the way. It's a very long process for me to think about these things. So we'll actually just put it instead of the glaive ricochet, I think. Yeah. So our early game takes a little bit of a hit with Glaive Ricochet gone, but the reactor is just, I feel like it's worth it. And if we do have any problems with the early game, we could always put the Glaive Ricochet back in instead of something like the Blade Maelstrom, and we can focus more on like the sniper to cover us. But the sniper can sometimes get overrun with a lot of you know what, nah, we're good. Sorry. Too many changes going through my head. Obviously this deck is not perfect, but hopefully it is the deck to bring back some more wins. We need at least 2 of the 3 wins. I mean, come on, like putting out these videos with 2-3 losses, like losses, it's not good. Definitely not good to be watching. It's more of a learning experience to see what the opponents are playing, like what beats the deck, like what to look out for. But let's face it, we just kind of want to see some wins right now. So yeah, I've made this deck and we'll be testing that out real soon, so stay tuned for that. And remember, if you do like the video, leave a like. If you want to see more, you want to see this deck in action, and subscribe. Just stay tuned for some more Bloons Tower Defense battles with the card battles, because I'm telling you guys, this is where it's at. Cool. Peace.